We're doing the A to Z of refurbs, and today's D. So the dreaded damp word. Just going to talk to you about three of the most common types that you like to see on a viewing in a property. So condensation is the biggest one. You'll see it primarily in kitchens and bathrooms, but not exclusively. What you'll find is it's where moisture and vapor in the air can't get out. So the ventilation is the problem. So you just need to fix the ventilation problem. Obviously, it's really nasty to then have to clean up and repaint and whatever else. And out of all the different types of damp, it's actually the one that's the most harmful to your health. So the second type that we'll talk about is penetrating. So penetrating damp generally is where it's something's getting in through the walls or through the floor. So you can identify it as being penetrating by looking at the roof, and if you've got missing tiles or there's some slates missing or the ends aren't quite right, something wrong with the gable, whatever, water can actually get in, so it goes down inside your walls, that's penetrating. Or if you've got cracks on your rendering, etc., or the TV repairman's been round to put in a new aerial and he's drilled a hole and hasn't sealed the hole. So water's just going to get in through those kind of gaps, so therefore it's penetrating. Or the third one is rising. Generally, ground floors doesn't generally get above 1.5 meters off the ground, so about 5 foot or so, and that would be rising. The other one that people tend to talk about is salt spots, and generally it only happens on plaster, and it's where your plasterboard's been contaminated at some stage. So that's unfortunately is about cleaning up your plasterboard and getting rid of that contamination. So that can be painful, but not as expensive as anything else. Primarily with damp, it's about moisture. So it's about fixing what that issue is, whether that's with increasing vents or removing a source of how the water's getting in. So the penetrating type stuff. If you need to get a survey done, expect to spend anything between £500 and £2.5 grand, depending on how much you need doing. If it's a small room or just a couple of walls, it's probably £500. If it's your whole house, whole of the downstairs or whatever, you're probably going to look at £2.5 grand by the time they've been round and surveyed properly. The other thing that people talk about when they talk about damp is the DPC, which is your damp proof course. So just don't cover them up, don't cover any vents. If you're building a deck outside or raising a patio, don't go above your damp course, don't cover the vents. That's the only way the moisture can get out of your building. So if you need some help with those kind of things, there's a couple of ways you can pick up on those. So buy yourself a damp meter. They're relatively cheap. You can buy them in good hardware stores or online. Just go and feel the cold external walls. You'll soon know if it's bubbling or if the wallpaper's peeling. And it might just be a genuinely old, cold house. If you tap the plaster, you'll soon find out whether it's hollow, whether it's coming off the walls, whether there's something hiding under there. And the easiest way, potentially, but not at the moment with the restrictions on wearing masks, is to literally just go in and take a big old lungful of air, because you'll smell the damp in the air. It's quite a musty, horrible feeling smell. You'll really notice it. But look for excessive air fresheners around a house, or if it's a property that's tenanted and you've gone to see, whether they've just brewed a big pot of coffee or something like that, where they're trying to mask that smell. So that's it really. Three common most types of damp, probably where you're going to find them, and hopefully that's helped you out. Cheers.